The monitors are all turned on, but only one's logged in. Weird, there's nobody here. Damien and Ben and Liz would be here though. Maybe she's in the bathroom. I'm not one to pry and snoop around, but I'm really pressed for time here. On screen I see PDFs and documents open. They look finance related and filled with abbreviation and jargon, nothing I can even understand. Maybe I can figure out how to create my account on my own. What are you doing? Oh God, what the fuck? Look at this dude. Haunted high school! I didn't mean to scare you. Oh, thank Christ. It's just a dino girl with an extremely long neck and not a specter. No, really, what were you doing on the fiscal report I was working on? I didn't do anything. Oh my God. I've been working on that all day. Why did you touch it? Oh my God. Finally, someone who can deep throat me and my girth. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry for saying bad things like that. I will do it again. I didn't. I only minimized it, I swear. Right, I'm here for a reason. Are you Liz? The Brachiosaurus furiously reopens all of her windows and for a while types out some information before acknowledging me again. Excuse me? Yeah. I wanted to submit something for that art contest going on, but I don't have my school login info yet. Ben told me you'd be able to help. Ben, huh? Well, Ben and Damien. She mumbles something beneath her breath and turns her head back to me. Yeah, I'm Liz. Oh my God. Whoa. Inko. But yeah, I'm new here, so I need an account. Oh, well, that's no trouble at all. Liz sits down and cracks her knuckles in as she starts typing away at the keyboard. Does this not hurt her neck or anything? Like, God, looking up at having to turn my head up at the Walmart demo kiosk for GameCube and PS2 games, that shit's kind of sucked. I had to make it a point to just keep my head straight and kind of look up as much as I could as I sat there and played what I'm pretty sure was a Jack 3 demo, because there was like a big deserty area and there was like a vehicle, like warthog vehicle that you could drive around in, and then there was like the parkour with the poles sticking out of the side that he would swing around on and jump around. There was that Hulk Ultimate Destruction demo. I don't remember anything else at the moment that I played on those things. Those were the days. Whether they were good or bad, I couldn't tell. I was only 6. But they were the days, though. Alright, I'll see if I can get that done for you. In a flourishing display of spreadsheet software experience, Liz navigates and organizes several documents in seconds. I've always had the general idea that there were a lot of shortcuts and commands, but yeesh. Uh, Windows key plus D is all you'll need for your purposes. So, you're an artist too? Since you want to enter this contest so bad. Oh, yeah, I'm a photographer. Yeah, how are you liking it here so far? It's pretty good, although I feel bad about missing most of the first day. It's not your fault. Guess not. Although, truth be told, I see those paintings framed in the hall by the principal's office, and it does put a bit of rain on my parade. Oh, these faces. Yeah, those. Yeah, I get what you mean. I think it's like that by design, honestly. Something about breaking the students' egos. Then you end up wanting to improve like crazy so you can reach your goals. At least that's what happened to me. Your goals? Yeah, I'm planning on going to university and getting degrees in design and business. Then I'll open up my own advertisement company. Ambitious? Don't see how anyone can afford not to be. You? How about a photography magazine? Because people read magazines, apparently, still. Oh. Well, it's something. More than a lot of people here. What's that mean? Like half the school may as well just be in a daycare. Sorry if that sounds rude. Huh? Like they aren't taking advantage of the programs here? Yeah, some don't, like a friend of mine. You mean Damien? Yeah, I shouldn't have mentioned it. Well, I hope he hasn't been causing you any trouble. He can be a bit of a silly Billy sometimes. Trouble is a bit of an understatement. He's definitely the friendly type. He even partnered with me in gym and dragged me along to sit with him at lunch. Is that so? Yeah, he was really excited about it too. He's really welcoming me into his lunch friend group thing. Liz says. Not this again. What? I'm guessing he introduced you to Olivia as well. Well, we share a class, but I didn't get a proper introduction until lunch. Oh boy, I'm sorry about that, Inko. What, is Damien messing with me? No, Damien is great. He's just maybe a little too eager. If he considers you a friend to him, he'll want you to be our friend too. Specifically, he'll want you to be Olivia's friend. What's wrong with that? Nothing at all. But you've seen Olivia. You can probably tell she's a bit unresponsive. Doesn't really like to talk to anyone, not even Damien. So you can definitely try to be her friend, but just know that she'll most likely ignore you. You don't like Olivia? Oh, what? No, I do. She's fine, I guess. I sit with her during lunch, after all. And I'm sure you'll get along with us just fine. And hey, I'd love to see Olivia make a friend. Just don't get too invested trying to get her to warm up to you. There's history to that warning. Why does she stick around then, if she doesn't want to be friends? Oh, Damien didn't mention? They live together. They're siblings? Not exactly. You'll have to ask him about it. Huh. Damien's also just incredibly patient and outgoing. I envy him. But yeah, he would like nothing more than everyone getting along like best buddies. What a Chad. Unless you're like Damien and you can be pleasant to a brick wall forever, Your time is probably better spent elsewhere. So, how serious are you about your ambitions? Pretty serious, I think. Liz nods. Something to keep in mind, then. It's a struggle, but like Damien says, we gotta keep trying, right? Liz gives me a half-hearted smile, but she still seems sad about something. Anyway, sorry for talking your ear off about private matters. You still want to get that submission turned in? She stops for a second on one tab to scan for something. And got it. She motions her head to the back of the room at the printer as it hums to life. I get up and get the paper, both my username and password. Here are strings of numbers. I take a snapshot of the username and password so I won't have to remember it. Thanks. Anyways, you should hurry. Lunch is ending soon. Right, according to the time display on the monitor, I've only got 10 minutes left. I followed the instructions on the printout, finally getting to the student hub of the site. And thankfully the art contest is displayed prominently across it. Flicking through a couple of links, I finally find the submission instructions. It's simply a matter of putting my entry details as the name of the file and dragging it into the school's shared drive. Plugging in my portable portfolio hard drive, I create a copy of my magnum opus. Then a quick rename, drag it here. Ding dong, bing bong. Just in time. I take the extra minute to safely undock my hard drive and then log off the computer. Looking back to Liz, she's completely wrapped up in her work. I don't think interrupting her is a good idea, especially after what she said about Olivia and our own time. I opt to simply leave her be, heading out of the room and the library for class. After all, it's time for the class I've been looking for to most. This day is certainly turning out better than yesterday. Hope I didn't just jinx it for myself. My nerves have been acting up when I first stepped back into the classroom. Made even worse than when I was hit with another flashbang. After my 20 other classmates had finished laughing, Mr. Atkin made a show of waving a freshly taken photo from a fancy fold-up camera from the 70s. I dub this portrait, whatever that says. I'll look it up and put it there. After he thumbtacked the shot on a corkboard filled with poor snapshots of everyone else, Mr. Atkin reassured me and sat me right next to Ben. He managed to sum up his syllabus in under a minute, instead taking the majority of the time to go over our first lesson and assignment on exposure and lighting. With each new light fixture he brought out and explained, I felt my mind swirl faster and faster with new possibilities of old shots. If only I had that then, or if I could have used that there. Now that you've had a small taste of it, we'll start on your first photography assignment, proper lighting. I'm practically salivating at the thought. Mr. Ideken had just finished his first lesson where he'd handed out all sorts of equipment to look over. It's the first time I've handled some of these things, like the enormous box light that was still taking up the entirety of my desk. Remember, though, that these are just tools meant to enhance the photo. You can highlight a turd all you want, it's still a turd. The crude language guarantees a chortle from the few half-listening students. The teacher looks over to the clock and hums. Well, I see that we managed to finish this lecture a tad bit early. Why don't you all take these last 10 minutes to compare notes, maybe even consider doing the assignment as a collab piece with a classmate. The room is quick to fill with the sounds of chatter. I wonder if Hey. I turn to Ben and see his eager grin. Do you want to do a joint piece, since you don't know any good spots in the school and all? I pull out the assignment sheet from beneath the lightweight light on my desk and give it a quick scan again. Present a set of photos demonstrating your understanding of proper lighting. You are allowed to borrow one lighting tool and must take the shot on school premises. And I swear I've handed out this assignment for years now. If one more student just takes a picture of the hallway outside the classroom, I'm going to personally throw them over the railing. Be original, please. I've got the perfect place for it. If we work together, we can even use 2 items. The offer is too tempting. Sure. I hold out my hand and Ben takes and shakes it, sealing the pact. My face is feeling weird from all the smiling today. Well, I wish school could have been that pleasant. Jeez. But in truth, I'd been enjoying Mr. Idekin's class so much that I couldn't stop. It's zooming in. I feel like I've entered It feels like I've the entire world to gain from Mr. Idekin's lesson. And the entire world to explore, seeing as ever since the move I hadn't had time to actually explore Volcadero Bluffs. Sure, on occasion I'd go out on my own to parks and stuff, but who doesn't? Besides, I'd be a pretty lame photographer if I didn't go out and find stuff to photograph. God. And you know what? I've been meaning to do a little looking around here. So to everyone else, this assignment makes them have to explore school, but I get to. Pretty sweet deal if I say so myself. The hall outside the classroom is only one major photo op. Between that and the murals outside, I'm certain to find something cool. No, the murals won't work on their own. Since it was my first thought to use them, that means it's likely someone else's first thought. I need to think outside the box a bit, think of some way to use the school's architecture to my advantage in a way that... Inko. My thoughts are disrupted by a worried-looking Ben. Maybe you should see a doctor, man. Head injuries are no laughing matter. I'm fine. What are you saying? I was asking how you were doing, with school and classes now. Oh, right. I'm doing good. Really good, actually. A class I'm 100% enjoying. The beginnings of some genuine friendship. The beginnings of some genuine friendships. Compared to the disaster of my first day, today has been astoundingly positive. That's good to hear. Yeah, I've even got some friends now. Oh, and what about your art submission? Was Liz able to help? There's some nibbling at the corner of my thoughts at the mention of the long-necked girl. Yeah, she gave me my login stuff and everything. Uploading the submission was a piece of cake after all. Awesome, though that does make you competition now. Both Liz and I have pieces in the running too. She told me she had submitted something, yeah. I'm a bit concerned since I don't have as much time at all to prepare anything, but hey, everyone's got a chance. You never know. Yeah, she was pretty cool about it too. That whole friend group is pretty welcoming. I think I'm pretty lucky. Lucky? Ben seems perplexed by my statement. You said something at lunch when Olivia vanished. I'm noticing for a silent paraplegic, she sure has a lot of people upset. You got some hidden drama with her too? No, not really. Wait, too? Who? Attican calls out to us, striding over to inspect. What are you posting over here? What's going on in this thread? Oh, Lord. I take it you gentlemen are conversing about your assignment together? Of course, Mr. Attican. We were just discussing where we take our picture, right, Ben? Well, that's good then. Good thing you guys weren't talking about something off-topic, like gossip. Wouldn't that be a pretty embarrassing use of our time right off the bat, I think? Especially considering you're currently the subject of some fairly humorous gossip, aren't you, Mr. Nito? I'm awash in a wave of shame from his words. I look at Ben, and I can see he feels it as well. If the air around needs some clearing, clear it yourself. Attican has a point. Maybe once a friendship is established, I can learn more about her. Alright, off you go now, and remember you got your assignment done by the end of the week. The room empties out slowly, most of my peers still chatting and discussing their plans for the assignment. Before I can continue talking with Ben about our own project, the Stuco president is already packed up and exiting the room. Guess we'll talk later then. Backing up my own notebook, I wave goodbye to my new favorite teacher and head off to my next class. Ooh. Walking into history class for the first time, and it's about what I expect it to look like. Pictures of historical figures, small relics from various regions, and cartography of the Earth during its stages of continental drift. Though I notice there's a distinct lack of a teacher in the class. Must be finishing up their lunch, I assume. Well, better get a good seat now before they're all taken. Eeny, meeny, miny. This one. I settle myself into my chosen desk and pull out my history book and notebook, along with a pencil. As the classroom fills with more and more students, it becomes a blur of vibrant scales. A few minutes pass, and I'm still wondering where the teacher is. The suddenness of the door slamming open stops any and all noise. It's quiet enough to hear a pin drop. The figure walks into the classroom and... oh, sweet heaven, no. He stands there and stares down at everyone, menacingly. He's a history teacher, too. Oh. I was right on the money. Thanks for walking me to my classroom, Sully. Of course, Mrs. Prockling. Oh, thank Raptor Jesus, he isn't our teacher. God. The Raptor woman adjusts her glasses as she scans around the room before looking down at the paperwork in her hands. God. I still can't believe how old expiration date is. I wish there would have been something new every once in a while from them, but oh well. There's probably not much profit in it to be made, especially nowadays. Looks like we'll have some late arrivals, but let's get down to business. I know that I introduced myself yesterday, but for any of those who weren't here, her momentary glance at me makes me believe Sully told her about my absence. My name is Miss Brockling, and this is History class. In this course, we'll be learning about the history of our primeval ancestors, and their advancements through history. You could even say that it'll be like going back in time. Doesn't that sound exciting? Despite her admittedly forced enthusiasm, everyone in class responds with uninterested murmuring. Not sure why, though. This all sounds exciting. She walks over to her desk and places down her pile of folders before flipping open her own special version of the history book. With a click of a button, she also turns on the projector to reveal a prepared slideshow for today's lecture. To learn about the extensive history of Surians and their culture is something I've yearned for. If you can turn your books to page 36, we'll begin with the first chapter, detailing the earliest interactions between Surians and hominids. Oh, this sounds interesting. I think I jinxed myself. Mrs. Prockling's history class is the polar opposite to Ideken's photography class. While her introduction to the class engaged me at first, things have slowed down into an unbearably slow crawl. My eyes scan over the introductory text of the first chapter. Despite the tension between the two groups, human settlers to the New World would continue to make overtures of trade to the native Velociraptor tribes. Pretty sure I've read this line 3 times now. I tear my eyes away from the page in the hopes of blinking the boredom away. I look up to see the teacher staring down at various papers on her desk with laser focus. I must have stared too long, though, because I end up locked in a staring contest with Brockling. She raises an eyebrow at me. Okay then, write down notes of pages 3 through 7 about the discovery of the New World. Without even fully comprehending the words before me, I'm copying the page down to the letter in my notebook. Absent-mindedly, I begin to recall everything that's happened so far with my new classmates. Ben carries himself with a lot of refinement, and is easily my first pick as a photography partner. But that Mia girl, she doesn't seem to want to make friends. Of course, I figured that out from the cold look she gave me yesterday, not to mention the rude hand gesture. How rude. Damien's very, very friendly, even if he can be a bit too enthusiastic sometimes. And though my encounter with Liz was brief, I think I can tell she's dependable. My progress in making friends has been pretty good, all things considered. But then there's Olivia. So far she's an enigma, and coupled with the apparent history she has with the others, it makes me all the more curious about her. Liz said it would be a bad idea to get invested, but in the end, it's effectively gossip and hearsay. This had come as something of a shock to me, but... What do we have here, Mrs. Halford? The sudden voice of Miss Brockling snaps me out of my thoughts. I lean my head to see the teacher looking down at... Wait a minute, Olivia's here too. As luck would have it, I share not 1, but 2 classes with Olivia. I must have been so jaded trying to read this textbook that I didn't even notice the girl in the wheelchair. She sits in the front row, diagonally in front of me. And I don't think she's noticed this strange twist of fate herself. Only the 2nd day of the school year and already doodling in class again. She proceeds to pick up the piece of paper from Olivia's desk. Looks like she's been drawing on it, though I can't tell what they are from where I'm sitting. Listen, Olivia, I know history isn't the most exciting subject to learn, but could you at least pretend that you're taking notes? The only response I hear from Olivia is a heavy sigh before leaning her head back down. While the teacher returns to skulking around the room, Olivia hunches over a notebook. Oh, God. Although I don't think those are notes she's taking. Nah, no one would do something like that with a totalitarian teacher patrolling the room. It's an attempt to get all of us to focus, but I'm fighting a losing battle to keep my eyelids from shutting. My jaws clenched tight to suppress the loud yawn building inside, even as Miss Prockley skulks right past me. Just before my drowsiness can overtake me, though, I notice minute movement in the corner of my eye. One of my classmates glances up at the teacher, whose eyes are roving over the opposite side of the room, and down to scribble something down. The paper is then folded into a neat little note, and I watch as the next person carefully unfolds the sheet and also scribbles on it, before folding and passing it along again. You have phones. Good God. Curiosity thoroughly piqued, I await anxiously my seat for the paper to get to me. It's a dangerous game, passing the notes along so Prockley doesn't see. If I'm participating, does that make me a slacker? The student to my side makes his move to toss the note over. But Prockley starts turning around right then. He flinches and drops the hot potato on my desk in a flash. I nearly slam my own paper over the edge to cover it from sight. Miss Prockley continues to lecture about how the raptors and humans eventually started to get along because they traded narcotic leaves, or something like that. As you can see on the board here. Now, I lift my paper. Luckily, there's plenty of space left. As for what everyone else has drawn, a not-so-solid attempt at a race car, rough sketches of some eyes, a bunch of doodles, names in various stylized fonts that I could only describe as graffiti. And, of course, it's not high school if someone hasn't drawn a penis weenus. Miss Prockley with stink lines coming off of her. Yeesh, better not get caught with this. That being said, I'm drawing a blank. What should I draw? I don't exactly doodle every day. Drawing stuff for others is a nice gesture. You want to see this penis the other student drew? Maybe I'll try to break the ice a bit. Although I don't really know anything about her. Hey, can't hurt to try though, yeah? I can think of a few things to sketch out here. Let's see. Use left click to draw. Wait. Oh. Oh goodness. Oh, I have a mouse and I'm in this house. I don't have an anchor to make it easier. Those anchors are very helpful, I have to say. I'll draw from memory. How did the mouths go? How are you supposed to do... I don't know how to do mouths from this... like that, from the jaw and all that shit. You have to kind of... You have to look directly at the character in order to do it correctly. It's hard to do it from memory. I don't fucking do that. I hate when it looks like this. Like, it should look a little more like that. You have to kind of go back in and then out. You know what I mean? That's how you're supposed to do that. No. Fuck, you did it too much. There we go. I just look like I'm drawing that one thing. Yeah, I'm a retard. Yeah.
I'm not insane. You hear me? I'm not insane!
Oh. I don't fucking know. I don't know how to do this shit without a visual reference. It was hard enough on that one thumbnail that I drew. Oh. Oh. No, I gotta do a little better than that. There you go. And done. I didn't have a lot of room to really work with, but I surreptitiously admire my work, I find. That I have a long way to go. It feels like I'm being mogged by the other doodles. Alright, Olivia's sure to like this. Mrs. Procklin is still turned around, though. Alright. If I slip the paper over Olivia's shoulder, I won't have to get up and risk getting caught. And here we go. It's a bit tricky, and I hesitate, but the paper meets its destination. She doesn't even look back. She just takes the paper eagerly. It's completely different from how she was acting earlier. Her tail is even swaying side to side. Who is that wagging? Oh, she's getting excited by the prospect. Huh. Alright, now she's going to see my sketch and possibly think I'm cool. She's not turning around. Well, it's not much, so it could also just... I'll be taking that. Mrs. Procklin snatches the paper from Olivia's claws. She holds her arms out. She takes a glance at the paper, and a small crack of a smile appears on her face before going back to its stoic visage. Oh my god. So, this is how you view me, Mrs. Halford.
As if I really look like this!
Procklin holds the paper up for all to see. Everyone in the class does their best to avoid her prosecuting gaze. I know that most of you were a part of this as well. Look, I'm not asking for much. Please do your assignments when you're in class. It's the least you can do. We were just passing one note at a time. She wasn't even paying attention. Yeah, how come all of us are in trouble? I noticed Procklin looked down at Olivia for a moment before letting out a sigh of defeat. Look, since it's only the second day, I'll let this one slide. But I'm warning you now that I won't be so lenient the next time it happens. Otherwise, you'll end up like the last student who decided to be disruptive during class. Pfft, what happened to him? Get a detention slip or something? Mrs. Procklin pulls up the window blinds and pushes the window screen open. She then takes out a walkie-talkie. Solly, yep, another hippie, CH4. Good job, soldier. Now, if we can, let's continue. We're on the second floor. I sink back into my seat and continue writing, mainly out of unalterated fear of experiencing the same wrath from the teacher. Man, now I feel guilty for Olivia. I was the one to pass her the note after all. Maybe I shouldn't have tried. Well, I can always apologize after class. Mrs. Procklin places the note and continues with her lecture for another half hour. With 10 minutes of class left, I see Procklin look at the clock above the door. I then notice Olivia grabbing her attention, and as if she knew what she's already going to say to her, the teacher nods her head. Olivia grabs her backpack and shoves all of her things into it. In silence, she wheels herself to the door, opens it, and rolls on out. The teacher must have noticed me watching her leave. Accommodations. Well, there goes my chances of saying sorry to her. Feeling defeated, I decided on focusing on writing down my notes for the rest of the time left. Although I do wonder. Oh, I wonder. She must have noticed my doodle. Did she just ignore it then? Class comes and goes, and I head back home on the metro. Another day, another dollar. Though this time I pass on the mini breakfast burritos. After how bad they messed me up during PE yesterday, I don't want my stomach to endure that torture again. Instead, I just got a few hash browns from the fast food joint by the metro. Those greasy-ass things will do the same shit, if not worse. I idly scroll throughout my feed, and as I usually do, while the metro jostles about to my destination. It's been a few days now, and the strange scent of extremely deep detergent and alcohol have become an afterthought. Some of the vines are actually plastic, and the flowers are little air fresheners. That's not actually something I noticed, more so witnessed when a passenger tried eating one. Some of the vines are real though, and for some reason they go untouched anyways. Maybe they're just not tasty. Vegetarians don't eat the grass in their lawns after all. Right. Huh. Oh, there he is again. Anyways, the lights have gone out and someone just dropped a wrecking ball next to me. Must be Mr. Ferris. Good morning, Inko. Good morning. Has work been going fine? It has, slowly, but I'm very thorough. I hate the idea of a place of learning not being an ideal place to learn. And I appreciate our talks. Your perspective has really helped me understand the student body more. You're welcome. Hey, have you given any more thought to the fashion thing? I have, although I can't say I really get it. There's plenty to see everywhere if you just look around. Really? Like what? Well, like, look at the girl on the other end of the car there. It's rather revealing. That's not very revealing at all, honestly. It's rather revealing. I don't think that's really for me. I love my wife. I just mean as an example. Well, there's an event coming up. I could see about trying something new. What would you recommend? That's a good question. What would be good to use? What would be good to use here? Let's get fashionable, baby. In my inner eye, I conceptualize the coolest possible Ferris. There's a lot of music in this demo, and it's going on for quite a bit. The fresh machine is going full throttle. God damn, son. First, sunglasses. Oh my god. His eyes may be a little too far apart for that. However, beanie. Oh no. Oh, it really is fall then. Big guns, fresh jacket. Oh my god. There we go. The coolest possible Ferris. Wow. Mr. Nito? Sorry, just thinking. Why don't you start with... Oh my god. It's like that one side quest from Yakuza. where you can put that guy in a fucking cowboy hat. He tries to get with the hostess. I'm glad we don't have that hostess shit here in America. I would have $0. I would immediately fall for that scam. I just realized what boards Inko is supposed to represent. I guess they would go unappreciated. How about this Malcolm seasonal cross-print jacket? Really now? Those all sound rather expensive. Yeah, they are. You know what? Try a gold chain necklace. This is something else, man. What's wrong with just a shirt and cargo shorts? Just some sneakers. Slip on. What's wrong with that? A what? Yeah, just make sure it's appropriately sized so it doesn't look silly. I'm sure it would go a long way, and they're pretty cheap to get. Well, alright, I'll take your word for it. We sure talk about fashion a lot, though. Isn't that really all everything's about these days? It's the Zoomer way, I suppose. By whatever means necessary. No, of course not. What do you want to know about? What's Yaolao mean? This shit really is about 10 years old, holy shit. That music video is pretty funny, though. I've heard the term he's thrown around recently. That was like 5 years ago. It was 10 years ago. It was 11 years ago. Oh. Mr. Ferris and I talk more about contemporary urban slang until we arrive at our stop. Mr. Ferris, let me show you to the wonders of Urban Dictionary. It's been used in court cases, you know. Art. Mr. Anakin had just started talking about our first project for the class. Oh, she's smiling. As soon as he'd said the word, Olivia's hand had shot up. Her gray eyes practically sparkled in excitement, and a smile threatened to crush the perpetual frown etched on her snout. The girl practically vibrates in her seat as she waves her arm in the air trying to get the teacher's attention. Idakin's own smile was strained as he and Olivia engaged in a staring contest with one another. I could only marvel as the two argued with each other without a single word. Eventually, Heidekin won by turning off the lights and turning on the cheap projector hanging from the ceiling. And playing a safety video about paint that felt far too graphic for a school setting. Damien ingested paint. This is what happened to him. I don't think I'll be able to eat barbecue for a while. Well, better warn Mr. Wilson.
Tastes like paint. And wood.
Wait till you see Dennis the Menace Strikes Again.
Doctor, thank God you're here.
George, this is my colleague from the University of New Delhi, Dr. Shashi Kasha.
Very pleased to make your acquaintance.
Thoroughly defeated, Olivia crosses her arms and pouts in her seat. And that is why we won't be using any of the more exotic materials for any projects, Mrs. Halford. Maybe I should just skip breakfast entirely. I still don't see the problem. Once you've had all the proper safety handling course, once you've all had the proper safety handling course, in the second semester you'll be allowed to use oil-based paints. Until that time, however, all the assignments will require safer supplies. Now, since we've pivoted to this, might as well finish the full video. Great. Ugh, oh my god. The grumpy the grumpy gator holds a hand to her throat, mumbling to herself as she grabs a metal flask and drinks from it. The entire display from her was mystifying, at odds with how Ben and Liz described Olivia. In fact, it kind of reminded me of me. I can understand why, after all. Idekin is letting Ben and I use some of his equipment in photography. The thrill of experimentation, of new possibilities. No doubt that it brings a creative sparkle to her eyes. Eyes that fill with pure malice as they glare daggers my way. Was I staring? Oops. Before I can offer an apology, she already had her hands on the wheels. She rolls up to Idekin's desk. He leans forward intently. I can't make out anything that's said through the video, but going by the occasional glare back, it's not hard to imagine. Crap, I really didn't mean to offend. Heidekin notices I'm watching and motions for me to come forward. Slowly, I shift out of my seat and approach the desk. Alright, there's something going on here. Idekin is speaking in a hushed tone. Don't move the seat. Just loud enough for me to hear over the makeshift manatee. Olivia's telling me you're making goofy faces at her. I have the tism. It's what I do. I can't help it. No, I said he's been staring at me all through class. I think he wants to do horrible things to me. Okay, I'm sorry. He has a powerful lust for me. Huh. It's weird, like he's never seen someone like me. Can't you move him to a different seat? Now hold on a sec there, Olivia, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'm sure this is just a misunderstanding. Mr. Anakin. It's like she's a different person here. She fishes out a canteen of water and brings it to her mouth. You're given a lot of leeway when it comes to a seat assignment, but asking for something like this... I just want him to leave me alone. She sips again. What's that about? Well then, Inko, you tell us. What's on your mind? Can't have disagreements between classmates this early in the year. I'm confused. I didn't know there was any disagreement between us. Well, sometimes it's the little things you do that you don't even think about that affect people the most. Oh boy, isn't that the case? Anything like that come to mind? I shake my head. Olivia's glare doesn't diminish away from my field of view. I mean, I've been a bit curious about her since we sit next to each other, and I'm friends with some of her friends. We all sat together at lunch yesterday. Anakin nods to himself thoughtfully. Sounds like he just wants to hang out, Olivia. Her face scrunches at the mere thought. Yeah, not really interested. He's distracting me from classwork. I want to watch the video without being gawked at. Sorry, I didn't mean it. Does that resolve the issue for you, Olivia? No, I don't even want somebody in this class. She goes to take another sip, but ends up turning the canteen upside down. All out. Olivia, you can go fill that up if you want. You won't be missing anything. The video's nothing you don't already know, I'm sure. Olivia eyes me suspiciously and slowly moves out the door towards the nearest water fountain. That's like one of the only things I remember from My Gym Partner's a Monkey, is when the human main character has to go back to a human school and he just doesn't like it. He doesn't like how the water fountain's always being cleaned. Anakin sighs. Alright. He leans back in his chair with his arms resting behind his head. Inko, I told you yesterday if the air needs clearing, you to do it yourself. Now she's in a mood because you're staring at her like a weirdo. And here I thought you two would get along. She even gave you that sketch she made of you. Truthfully, I'm impressed, but here we are. What's going on, big guy? Again, sorry. It's been a pretty busy few days. Yeah, I gotten into a cool friend group. We're all gonna sit together at lunch. Olivia's there too. She didn't say much, but I got her a soda. I don't know why she's so upset at me. It's nothing personal, Inko. It's not. She's reticent. Not sure if that's how it would supposed to be pronounced. Especially when it comes to change. Like Stewie Griffin. If you're at our lunch period too, I can see why she'd be wary of you. If you don't mind me asking, Mr. Anakin. Yes? Why is she so open with you? How do you mean? Just now, she spoke more in that conversation than all the other times I've seen her yesterday. I saw the canteen. I'd figured it's something to do with her voice, but it's surprising. Her water bottle's the other way around. It's unfortunate, but she just really rarely talks at all. And I guess she just really trusts me. I've known her since she was a freshman. But she lives with Damien, right? He's at the lunch table and she still barely talks to him. Poor kid. I hope he's doing alright. He seems to be alright. But yeah, she's distant to everyone else. So much so that I keep hearing weird things about her. Idekin leans forward in his chair, suddenly attentive. I don't know what the hell. If you can hear that or not. Is this about you gossiping with Ben yesterday? I bet. He showed up to the table and said something about her being the same after she left. Probably some drama there, but I don't want to pry. He nods. But also, Liz told me some weird things too. He stops nodding. I know of her. Is something wrong? No, she just said I shouldn't get invested in being her friend. Everyone's being real weird about it, so I was just curious for myself. Guess that's why I was looking at her weird. Sorry. Idekin rubs his temples. Hey, it's worse than I thought. What is? I'll put it this way. You've met 3 people that know Olivia, other than me. Of the 3, only one thinks highly of her, and the other 2 start unloading drama on anyone willing to listen. In this case, you. No wonder you're confused. Hadn't thought of it like that. I don't blame you. You shouldn't be involved in anything stupid. High schoolers, you know. I guess. Idekin inhales, collecting his thoughts. Important question, then. Do you really want to be Olivia's friend? I guess. A judging eyebrow is raised my way. Don't know if I did that yet. Are you really, or just curious about her? He seems pretty serious about this. Well, yes then. Olivia returns to class and rolls right back up to the desk. Back. Have you changed his desk yet? Idekin nudges his head towards me expectantly, prodding me on. I'm sorry I distracted you during class, Olivia. She looks at Idekin and gets a similar nod. Sure. You're welcome. Thanks. Shit. But, no, really, I don't want to be distracted. Come on now, Olivia. The least you could do is give him another chance. You never know. I don't really want to know. I get he's, friends with Damien, but I don't really want to, you know? Not in this class. But I'd like to be your friend. She stops and raises an eyebrow. Lots of those going around recently. Higher and higher each time. Like she was expecting this response. She looks to Idekin for help. Actually, Olivia, I think he'd make a good friend for you. What? His words were like a battering ram. I'm simply saying to give Inko here a chance. I can almost see the imaginary bulwark she hid behind slowly crumbling from what Aiken was saying. You are both quite similar at heart, though you may have different methods. Perhaps you'll find some compromise behind cynicism and naivete if you work together. Finally, the last fragments of her imaginary fortress collapse. Olivia can only look at the art teacher with timid confusion painted across her features. Well, I don't... Are you for real, Mr. Attican? I am. He's actually in another class of mine. Wait, is this another class? Is this like a regular painting class, I guess? It's been a day. I've already forgot what this class is supposed to be exactly. I guess that's why there's a video with about paint getting inside of your steak and your barbecue. I've seen him. He's passionate about his camera, like you are with a brush. And I do expect great things from him. Okay. Sorry, I really thought, oh my god. Oh, oops, she accidentally bit her tongue. God. This one time, I don't know if I told this before, I don't think I have. A long time ago, like about 10 years ago, I was watching a Let's Play, and I was eating Fruity Pebbles. Around that time, each time I ate cereal, I just kept biting my tongue like an asshole for some reason. And I just started bleeding a little bit that time I did it. Persona is just bad luck for me, you know? Her mouth is clamped shut. It's just my opinion. You can make your own choices, Olivia. She nods furiously. Oops, the movie's about to end. You two should get back to your seats. We good here? Olivia side-eyes me again and nods once more. All right. He motions for us to skedaddle. Olivia backs away to her spot. Thanks, Mr. Aiken. For what? I just gave an opinion. I'm serious. It's up to you to the two of you if you want to be friends. And don't screw it up. He waves me off again and gets up to flip the lights. Oh God. I get back to my seat and stare absent-mindedly at the projected screen as I digest Aiken's words. He said he only gave his opinion, but it seems like he also gave me an opportunity to take the right steps in connecting with Olivia. And with what he said about her being passionate with a brush, it's gotten me even more curious about her artistic prowess. Speaking of whom, I notice that she occasionally gives me a side-eye. I don't know how with those sunglasses on in a dark room. I don't think she can see my eyes due to the dim lighting combined with my shades. Yeah, of course, it's like I just said. She stares at me with a sense of strange curiosity, almost as if she's trying to get a read of me from my face alone. But from what I can tell by her facial cues, it seems she's confused and almost shaken up. It's like she wants to say something, but keeps on backing away at the last second. Isn't that the truth? Guess her mind is also jostling around from Aiken's words. Oh God. The sudden brightness of the UV light stings my eyes for a second before they adjust. You're wearing sunglasses. Would that help? Whatever. Alright, normally in your first week we'd be doing something simple, like a color swatch wheel. However, I think you all could manage something a bit more advanced. The Gator girl's head whipped around at the word advanced. Whatever Olivia was thinking before regarding me seems to be forgotten, as she focuses almost entirely on the teacher. Mr. Ideken holds up a stack of paper for us to see. First things first, I'd like for you all to fill out these topic sheets, so that I know you understand how to safely handle oil-based paints. Last thing we need is another burnt-down classroom. Somehow. The way Ideken says those words makes me imagine some pretty horrible outcomes. Once you've finished your sheets, bring them to me so I can review them. I'll be giving you the permission sheet after I know you lot won't set yourselves on fire or poison yourselves. The Allosaur guy in front of me hands back the stack, and I take a page from it before handing the rest to the Diplo girl behind me. My eyes scan over the sheet. What grade of mask do snouts longer than 3 inches require? And the realization hits me. I didn't see the first half of that video. My eyes scan over the page and I groan when I see questions I've no answers for. You can always ask to, I don't know, see it again after school or something. I don't know. All of them pertaining to dinosaur anatomy. That doesn't apply to me. Well, some of it probably doesn't apply to me, but whatever. The art teacher looks directly at me, and then to the side. I try to decipher his meaning, follow his eyes. Oh. I turn in my seat and lean closer to Olivia. Oh, goodness. Hey, what? What now? What? What is it? I'm not gonna let you draw me like one of your French girls. I will not do a George Costanza pose for you. What a hypocrite. She drew me without permission, and it may or may not have involved blood coming out of my skull. What the hell? Looking at her paper, I see that she's already answered the questions I couldn't. I show her my own page, tapping the other section that was still blank. Olivia groans and looks to Ideken pleadingly. All she gets for her troubles is a thumbs up. Jesus. Fine. Fine. Here. She holds out her sheet for me. Wait, isn't this cheating? The art teacher wouldn't... When did he get to his desk? Why does he have a sleeping mask? Oh my god. If I look over the answers, I still learn the safety procedures. Yeah, about what I was thinking. Yeah, so what's the difference in the end? That must be what he's thinking. Either that or he just doesn't care about our safety. I copy the words from Olivia's sheet, doing my best to at least rephrase them. Some of my classmates are already walking up to Ideken's desk. He's barely reading the pages, not even taking the sleeping mask off. Thanks, Olivia. Whatever. Olivia finishes her page in a few seconds and wheels herself to the desk too. The last answer I'm fairly confident on. Like what flashpoint means. It's a paradox, I suppose. I get up and go to Ideken's desk and set my safety assessment down. Good, good. Here's your permission slip to use hazardous paints. He didn't even bother to look over my worksheet. Jesus. He lifts the eye mask from his face and looks at me with one eye. Oh my god. What? Most of this stuff doesn't apply to you, Inko. Just don't drink the pain or get it in your eyes and you'll be okay. Yes, Mr. Ideken. Attaboy. Now get back to your desk and wait for class end. Tomorrow I'll be starting you all on something simple. Like painting a cube or a ball. Yeah, model dodgeball painting. The eye mask drops down and I return to my seat. The class clock reads 5 minutes until lunch. Olivia's back to leering at me. I consider what I should do or say some sort of icebreaker. Mr. Ideken said we're similar, and I can see some of what he means. But I'm a photographer, and she's a painter. So a cubist and a deist walk into a bar. Bong, ding, bong. Ding, dong, bing, bong. Have a good lunch now. The moment the bell rings, Olivia shoves most of her things into a backpack, not caring if her notebook gets crushed. Once she zips up, she races out of the classroom. Guess she doesn't want to get caught in the chaos of the lunchroom stampede.
This is not a Sutter Kane story. This is not reality. Not reality. Not reality.
This is reality.
Hear that? Reality. Not reality. Reality.